Buckle in. But right now, would everyone please welcome up to our stage our featured performer of the evening, Janet Kuypers. Janet Kuypers, everyone!
Hi. This first piece I'm going to do, I'm going to give some background noise for, of birds. They sound nothing like penguins, but I'm going to give you bird noises anyway for this first piece. The Gentoo Penguins, they run down the mountain to the rocky edge overlooking the Southern Ocean. They get into a single file line at the edge. One jumps in, then another, then another, then a dozen more. The last penguin gets in line at that edge after all the other penguins jumped into the Southern Ocean. The last penguin steps back and forth on his feet in a place, turns around, looks at the mountain, turns back toward the water, rocks once, steps in place twice, looks back to the mountain, then turns to the salt water and just dives in. I started with a really short one because I work with Scars Publications, which I'm editor of 2 literary magazines there, CC&D and Down the Dirt magazines. If you want to know anything about them, go to http://scars.tv. And I'm sharing that with you because Scars Publications just released a slew of books of mine, and a few of them are about Antarctica. The first one that you're seeing in my hand is Antarctica Wildlife. It's got lots and lots of pictures of penguins and a few other animals as well. Another one is Antarctica, Earth's Final Frontier. It's amazing scenery that will never be seen again because of the changing landscape always for the seasons. Their color images, they are available for, I believe, $17.99 and $25. But if you want to, because they're available through Amazon, you can bug me for them and you can take my copy and you don't have to pay shipping and handling. However, there are also a slew of other books that have been released from Scars Publications. I'm really thrilled because this year, a small book that has sections of interviews of mine as well as journal entries and select poems over many years has just been collected and put together, and it is called In Depth. And since I'm wearing silver on this cover, I figured I'd wear silver for you guys now. But it starts with a television interview when I was on CBS News in 1990, and the poetry reflects things in my life from my working as an acquaintance rate workshop facilitator. It does 911. It talks about me almost dying in a very severe car accident and relearning how to walk and talk and eat, and there's all sorts of stuff in here. And this little gem is only $10. And you don't have to pay the shipping and handling if you want to buy one of these copies off of me right now.
$10?
Only $10
to get it.
Holy cow, that's incredible. I can't believe it. I told you I was the literary magazine editor of CC&D. This is a collection of my material that has appeared in many issues and chapbooks of CC&D that is called On the Edge. And if you can see how huge this is compared to In Depth, this was only $12. What? I can't believe it. That's insane. So if you would like to see a bunch of poetry from me, you can get this from this collection as well. I'm tossing it over here because I've just got so many books. There are also 2 collection books of performance art shows because, as you can kind of infer from me, I do a lot of performance art stuff. In the chapter 18, 28, 38, 48 series, I've got volumes 1 and 2 of chapter 48, volume 1, which has just about the coolest shot of Chicago I've ever seen on the front cover. It's got a bunch of stuff from a number of years, and just because I've got so many books, there's volume 2 as well, which has a shot of Chicago from the skies, because not only does it show things from Chicago shows, but also from a few shows now that I've moved to Austin, Texas. So there's a lot of material in all of this stuff, and a lot of the stuff I'm going to share with you in this show, a lot of it is from this book, which, as I said, is only $12. Get a load of that. And there are a few copies here if anybody wants to grab them. You could buy these things from Amazon, but you'd have to pay shipping and handling it. You could have it in your hand right at this very moment. So anyway, now I'm going to start just reading poems for you from another show of mine that of course appears in this book. This is called Jumping, Flying. When I took over the controls, I feared the airplane would fight me back and gravity would take me to a tumble. But the skies were sunny, the air was clear, and once my hands took over the job of piloting that plane, this behemoth seemed to purr like a kitten, and it was like I was 6 years old again, riding a bike, because you never forget the feeling of holding on to that handlebar, giving yourself the power to take you wherever you want to go. Like a conductor, I directed that plane above the clouds, seeing the winding streets no wider than strands of hair. I'm looking at this, I wonder if I could see the Everglades. And you may ask, why even do this? Well, because I can. Because if I choose to, I can take flight like a bird and touch the sky. But once, I sat in an airplane that had no door. And I looked at the altimeter that was attached to my harness and saw this craft rising over 17,000 feet. Just about 500 feet to go, I think, and my stomach starts to feel queasy. But others are there to even help me out, and some are even there to actually record it. But before I was told I was going to, if I was told to prove that I was actually enjoying jumping out of an airplane, what I was supposed to do is do jazz hands. So, okay, I jumped, I fell, I couldn't breathe, but I didn't forget to do jazz hands, even though falling at 120 miles per hour doing jazz hands looks more like doing experimental dance or convulsions. I pull the ripcord, I see the Rockies from above, and I get a free beer at the Left-Handed Ale Brewery for making this jump. But even the cameraman asked me after I was done, what on earth were you doing? And really, if you think about it, what on earth was I doing? Why do I do this? Because I can. Because with every leap I take, I'll always land on my feet and keep looking up toward the sky. Thank you. And the only true happiness this way lies. I'm here to usher in a whole new millennium. I'm the new savior of science, the savior of survival of the fittest, survival of the best. And I'm here to tell you that we're starting anew. So fasten your seatbelts, place your seat trays into their upright and locked position, for it's a bumpy ride, and I'm here to tell you why. I'm here to usher in a whole new millennium of reason and logic and strength, and you need a leader, so I'm stepping up to the place. You keep asking for a big brother, and I'm here to set you straight. You want someone to wipe your noses for you? Well, pick up the damn tissue and do it yourself, because when you give up your rights, you take away mine, and we're not having any of that. I'm here to usher in a whole new millennium. And they say that Eve ate from the tree of knowledge, but she shouldn't have stopped just there, because it's now time to take it all back. And I'm here to tell you how it's going to be done. Stop asking for things and start working for things. You're looking for peace in all the wrong places. You're asking your leaders to save you from yourselves. but your leaders are losers, and they're worse off than you. It's time to make choices, and it's time to lay claim to everything that we've been blindly giving away, because I'm here to usher in a whole new millennium. Take charge of yourself, and I'll take charge of me. I'm my leader, not yours. So wipe your own damn noses. And take it in your own hands, people. Mold your own tools. This is the new millennium, and this is your chance, because no one should be showing us how to fail. People mastered that feat a millennia ago. I'm here to usher in a whole new millennium, and I'm waiting for you to usher in yours, because the only true happiness this way lies. Thank you. A poet walks into a coffee shop, sees a rabbi, a father, and a mom. And the poet thinks, I should write a poem about this. I really say chapbook originally for what I was going to share with you guys, and it is online at scars.tv as well. And I am swapping out the next poem in that chapbook for a new poem that I wanted to share with you instead. A lot of these poems, as I said, were in Chapter 48, Volume 2, only $12. But this one is a new poem, and because I had done, somebody said they didn't like the concept of memes, but I had come up with books that have been recently released, because if you can be attracted to somebody's pheromones, you might be attracted to their memes or ideas. So I've got Pharaoh Memes books that have been recently released. And in that Pharaoh Memes series, the next book in the series would be of haiku, Twitterverse, and poetry. This is the mock cover of it. It's not even out yet. But this is a new poem that would be in that book, and it's called For Far Too Many Years. After news reports of fires along the coast of California and through national forests, they filled half a newscast, and a reporter then said on live TV, "We now have to learn how to live with fire." Live with fire, he says. After I've escaped the gates of hell and am now forever forced into purgatory, I spend every waking moment licked by flames. I know what it's like to be parched, because all this time I've been scorched. And I wonder why everybody else hasn't been living with hellfire all this time already. It's been around us since the beginning of time. It's been there, it's always been there for far too many years for it to not find you. All this time, it's been breathing down your back, teasing you, whispering to you, calling to you. Thank you. I had a dream the other night. I walked out of the city to a farm road where the square acres of living land just started to bloom, displaying a colorful checkerboard quilt as far as the eye could see. I walked along this empty road next to the crops at 3000 South, and a small little pig walked right up to me. And now, this wasn't just a little pig like a farm pig. It looked like this 10-inch pot-belly pig. And he walked right up to me and he said, "Thank you. Thank you for not using cosmetics tested on animals. I know you humans are pretty smart. You've got to be able to figure out a way to make yourselves pretty without killing me." And I said, "I think that companies don't worry about the animals unless the chemicals are toxic, which means it's toxic for humans." The little pig then snorted. "Which lives are worth saving?" the little pig then said. "Cutthroat corporations don't answer questions like that," I said. And he said, "I know, but thank you anyway." And yeah, I had that dream the other night where I walked out of the city and there were neatly paved bicycle paths and trash cans every 50 feet and trash every 10. And then in this dream, a raccoon came right up to me. She had a few little baby raccoons following her. It was so cute. I wish I had my camera. And she spoke to me and she said, "Thank you. Thank you for not buying furs. I know you humans are pretty smart. You've got to be able to figure out a way to keep yourselves warm without killing me." And I said, "You know they don't do it for warmth. They do it for fashion. They do it for power." And she said, "I know, but thank you anyway." And then I walked a little further in my dream, and there was this stray cat. She still had a little neon collar on with a little bell, and she walked a few feet, and she stretched her front paws. Oh gosh, she looked so adorable. And then she just walked right up to me, and she said, "Thank you." And I said, "For what?" And she just looked at me for a moment. Her little ears were standing straight up. And she said, "In some countries, I'm considered a delicacy." And I said, how do you know of these things?" And she said, "When somebody eats one of you, word gets around." And then she just looked at me for a second, and she said, "And in some countries, the cow is sacred. Wouldn't they love to see how you humans prepare them for slaughter, how you hang them upside down and slit their throats so their still beating hearts will drain out all the blood for you?" She said, "Isn't it funny how arbitrary your decision to eat meat is?" And I said, don't put me in that category. I don't eat meat." And she said, "I know. I know I don't do much. I don't do enough, but I'll take what I can get. When I have these bad dreams of our country going down the tubes, and all I can dream about is this reality of my hands being tied behind my back, and there's nothing I can do. And after every night, I wake up in a sweat." So now that Britain's leaving the EU, so tell me, Prime Minister David Cameron. So tell me, Jeb Bush. So tell me, Ted Cuban Canadian Cruz. So tell me, Entertainer-in-Chief Donald Trump. So tell me, crooked Hillary Clinton. So tell me, Barack Hussein Obama. If you woke up from these dreams, if you lived these dreams and thought the way I did, would you wake up in a sweat too? You know my motives aren't selfless. I know these things are worthwhile in my life. I like to find a cure to these man-made diseases before I die of them. And I mean, I'm not just a vegetarian because I think it's wrong to kill an animal unless I have to. I also know that the excess protein pulls the calcium away from my bones and gives me osteoporosis. And I know that we could be feeding 17 times more people with the same resources used for meat production. You know, I know you're looking at me and calling me an extremist, but I'm sitting here looking around me, looking at all the destruction caused by family values, and thinking that the right, moral, non-violent decisions are also those extreme ones. Everything is linked here. We destroy our animals, we destroy our plants, we destroy our earth, we're destroying our air. We wreak havoc on the soil, on the atmosphere. We dump our waste into our lakes. We pump aerosol cans and exhaust pipes. And you tell me that I'm extreme. And I'm beginning to think that we just keep doing it because we don't know how to stop. And we keep this all inside, and we feel this pain deep inside of all that we killed, and we try to control it by popping a chemical-filled painkiller. And we live through the guilt by taking caffeine, nicotine, morphine, or we keep ourselves thin with saccharin, or we keep ourselves sane with our alcohol poisoning. So we'll do anything to ourselves because we want to believe that we are always the ones in power. But in the wild, you have no power over anyone else. Now that we're civilized, we create our own wild. Maybe when we have all this power, the only choice we have is to destroy ourselves. And so we do. That was a long one. Thank you. And yes, it's a joy being in Texas. Sorry, I miss it here so much, and I love you guys. I do. But you know, in Texas, you see like giant flags, U.S. flags, waving for pride and everything, but you also see bumper stickers on cars telling everyone to secede. So it's like trying to make sense out of that. Exactly. This next poem I'd like to share with you, that was at an open mic, and a poet there was passing out cards to people. This is the card that I got, and it was blank, and he said, write a poem about this card. And I'm showing it to you because I wrote a poem on the spot. It's really tiny, so I've got fingerprint here, and it is called Quieted Soul. It is also, why I should keep saying it, is in chapter 48, volume 2. As I said, only $12. These are such a bargain. So anyway, this is Quieted Soul. Drop you in a strange house, in a strange land. Have a seat, they say. Relax, enjoy. But you feel so tense. And you don't know which way to turn. And that house is hollow because only your soul will make it a home. So the sun beats down and you're at a loss, not knowing what to do. So you slowly sit down, catch patches of grass in your peripheral vision, wonder what steps you have to take so that you can build a ladder to the sun and turn down that damn sun, because with the sun so strong on this foreign soil, it scorches the streets and strips the life from all of our souls. So sit here stoically as the sun stares at this strange land. Search for ways to quench that quieted soul once more. Thank you. This next poem, as I said, is in chapter 48, volume 2. It's also in the first book I ever wrote, and I don't have a copy of that, so you'll just have to get this new book. This poem is called The Page. And you could still appear in the paper I held in my hand, rippling page waves of the dorsal fin of a shark circling my head, watching its prey. I could touch this page and still feel the rose I threw over the mahogany box in the November cold, the grass covered with ice, cracking each time I took a step toward you. I could feel the pain in the paper, and I could still feel the cold marble freezing my fingers, and the etched message on the stone would still take hold of me the way you did. All I had to do was look at your writing and feel the blood rush, feel your breath on my neck, feel the fist coming and jumping out of that page and hitting me in the face. I could feel it. I could feel 1,000 wars fought and won on your page, in your words. I could feel your hot breath pushing up against my neck. I could feel your hands taking my shoulders, throwing me back in my chair. I would look at your paper and see out the window the masses rising, rioting in the streets. I could feel the tide rising from your thoughts. What do you possess? What have you gone through to give you such a gift? I look at the page and I begin to feel your hand from under the page, from in the desk, razor in hand, shoving up through the fiber, slicing at the air, trying desperately to get to me. And I get up from my chair, walk over to the bathroom, almost like memorization. I feel nothing but the drive you felt. In the mirror, there are cuts on my face. Thank you. I asked if this would be long enough, and that's okay if I do this poem, and they said yes. I would like to share with you this poem. It was also, it's in, of course, that book that I keep showing off to you. And it was also the last feature I ever had at Let Them Eat Chocolate, whether that matters to you. This is called Other Souls. Other souls litter history books. I wish I was Joan of Arc, carrying her banner in battle, giving divinely inspired advice to the men under her command. And I wish I was burned at the stake for my beliefs. As the flames rose to her Roman nose, I wonder if she ever knew of her ultimate power. I wish I was on the Titanic. Oh wow, that sounds so like me, like to be the rich elite, to be on the first cruise across the ocean. But I wish I'd gone down with them. I don't care which passenger I am. The point is that people will study this disaster that I was in for centuries. Books will be written, movies will be box office hits, all from me being in the wrong place at the wrong time. I wish I were my ancestors. Marie, Ashi, Petronilla, Johanna. I wish I was in the resistance like them to save Jews from the SS in World War II. I never lived through their struggles, but I'd gladly take their place to fight for something, even if it meant being killed by the Nazis. For what? For trying to save lives. I wish I was on flight 175. It's just another one of my trips across the country. I'm getting used to airplanes. It's actually quite a nice morning. Come 2001, come all the damage I have seen so far in my life, maybe this would be a good way to go. I haven't seen the World Trade Center since 1995. Wow, what a view this flight is giving me. And maybe I'd hear from a neighboring passenger's phone call about the hijackers. No matter, because I would get the Inferno and I'd see it from the North Tower before years later, my name would be cut through metal, memorialized around that fountain for the once fallen towers. Yeah, it would be quick, but people would come to this New York intersection by appointment only and run their hands around the letters of my name. After all this pain, they wouldn't forget. Other souls litter history books. Some may have been great. Some, as I said, may have been at the wrong place at the wrong time. But after I've been attacked, after I've been almost killed, what? I've pieced myself back together again. I've screamed my stories from rooftops. I've etched my words into stone, and no one hears me. And if they do, no one will remember. Saying these are all in the chapter 48 V2, but this one right here, just because I happen to know this one, Yearning to Break Free, is not only in that, but is also in one of my Fairmemes books, show poems from past performance art shows, and like the others, I've only got 2 copies of this one, it's only $10. Get along with that. What a bargain. This is called this is called Yearning to Break Free. Asked a guitarist once why he's always breaking into song. He told me that he always had to fill his head with music, or else a billion ideas would overflow his brain and he wouldn't be able to focus on anything. I thought about this, and I wondered if this was the plight of the creative. How that we're just bombarded with all these ideas. They attack us, they assault us, they bombard us, they infect our brains. And then every once in a while, we let one crystallize. We give our scattered minutiae a form, and you call it a work of art. But you don't understand. If I let it all out, my brain would explode. I suppose these are the trials of the creative, with all these ideas scratching at our brains, yearning to break free. And us creative types, we're left to pick up the pieces from what is deep within us and decide what is worth sharing with the rest of the world. You call it an art. I call it what keeps me sane. I have one more for you, my darlings. And yes, some of the poems in here are also in, because I haven't had a chance to show it off, my regular poems from Pheromemes, the original Pheromemes book. These will all be available here, and as I said, only $10.
Only $10!
What? Are you kidding? And you don't have to pay shipping and handling like you would if you ordered these things through Amazon. You could have them. So easy. God, it's incredible. But anywho, this is my last poem, and I just want to say I love each and every one of you. Desperately. Thank you so much for being here. I love you all. This is a poem, well, this is like my future Imperfect mix of a poem called I'm Not Sick, But I'm Not Well. I'm not sick, but I'm not well, and I'm sure there's something that I could do about this. About the aspirin, the Tylenol, the ibuprofen, the codeine, the Prozac, the Vicodin, the oxycodone, and you know, these sleeping pills aren't knocking me out anymore, and that thermometer is down my throat, and I'm gagging. I'm not sick, but I'm not well. The doctors find nothing wrong with me, and believe me, they've taken the tests, they've taken the x-rays, they've stripped me down, and they made me wear one of those god-awful paper robes, and they've put probes on my head to monitor my brain, and they've strapped me down, and they've injected me with drugs until the veins in my arms were itching and screaming. It was like they were shoving demons under my skin. I'll rip that needle out of my arm, I'll rip myself out of this gurney. I will try to break free, because they always find what they're looking for, and they never find what I'm looking for. I'm not sick, but I'm not well, and I can't help but think that everything I'm doing to make things better might only be making things worse. So I don't want to listen to what you have to say anymore. And I want this IV out of my arm, and I want this oxygen tube out of my nose, and I want to be free from your straitjackets, and I want you to get that scalpel away from me, because I want everything I've got. I'm not sick, but I'm not well, and they want me if they can keep me in line, and they can give me anti-depression medication so they can deplete my soul altogether, and they want me if they can scan my brain, check my records so they can see that there's some sort of need to correct me, and they want me if they can cut me open and take out my insides and suck out the fat and suck out the life and make me generic and make me dependent and make me unreal and make me not whole, and the thing is, I've just walked this line with all of you doctors, and I want all of my parts back, and I want to be healthy. No, I'm not sick. Maybe I'm not well, but you're only making me worse. I don't have the answers, but neither do you. So instead of tearing me apart and dissecting me and studying the bones, let me just stay together for a while until I figure it all out. Woo! Yeah! Thank you. Thank you. I love you all. There are books because, you know, Scars Publications, and I'd love it if you had any interest in just all there. And please, somebody get on up here and say that there's somebody coming up. I feel like I'm taking over as a host. I ran an open mic at Gallery Cabaret for years, and Bob Rashka was my sidekick, and I don't know if he's still here, but I feel so natural. Give it up. Come up, my darling. Thank you. No, thank you, too, right?
Keep going for Janet, please. Woo!
I'm never around. You have to save this stuff because I'm not going to be here.
Yeah, there you go. I've driven it, I've flown it, I've taken the train. It's actually a very nice city to go home to or be from. I like Austin a lot. But yeah, that stuff costs money. So
Yes, it does.
give Janet your money, please. Give her another round of applause.